the legend of the Golden Emperor. In the scorching heart of the medieval Sahara, in a world where kingdoms rose and fell like shifting dunes, there lived a man whose name would echo across centuries. A man so wealthy that stories about him border on myth. A man whose generosity could collapse entire economies, whose vision transformed cities into jewels of knowledge, whose empire stretched farther than the eye could imagine. This is the story of Mansa Musa, I of Mali, the richest man to ever walk the earth. Today, we will journey through the deserts of West Africa, into the roaring markets of Timbuktu, across the golden savannas of a forgotten empire, and along the legendary pilgrimage that shook the world. Sit back, relax, and travel with me into the 14th century, into a world built of gold, power, faith, and destiny. Born of empire, long before Mansa Musa would wear the crown, the Mali Empire was already a titan of its time. Founded by the great Sundiata Keita, Mali rose from struggle, forged in battle, and united by a prophecy carried by the Mandinka people. By the late 1200s, Mali was enormous. A land of rivers, fertile farms, bustling trade routes, and gold mines that glittered beneath the Sahel sun. But within this empire, far from the throne itself, a young boy named Musa was growing, learning, watching. He was not born heir to the throne. He was royal, yet distant from power. But he possessed something greater than lineage. A curious mind, an unwavering faith, and a strategic brilliance far beyond his years. From his earliest days, Musa was fascinated with leadership. He studied scholars, listened to griots, and learned the histories of warriors and kings before him. He trained in diplomacy, mastered languages, learned the secrets of trade and the vast networks stretching to North Africa, Egypt, Arabia, and beyond. As he grew older, Musa served in Mali's royal court. He became known for his calm judgment, his ability to settle disputes without a sword, his capability to rally people, and his fierce loyalty to the empire. These traits would soon place him on a path no one expected. The strange ascent. The story of how Musa became emperor is one of fate, but also of bold ambition. Mali's emperor at the time, Mansa Abu Bakr II, was a ruler obsessed with one dream that consumed him. What lies beyond the great Western Ocean? He believed the Atlantic hid vast lands yet undiscovered. And so, he did something extraordinary. He gave Musa the title, Deputy of the Empire, acting ruler, regent, and then Abu Bakr sailed away with a massive fleet, hundreds of ships, to discover what lay beyond the horizon. He never returned. And so, in the year 1312, Musa, still a young leader, was crowned. Mansa Musa, I, King of Kings, Lord of the Mines of Wanyera, Emir of Mel, Conqueror of Granada, and a Lion of Mali. In one moment, he inherited an empire larger than all of Western Europe. His rule had begun, the Empire of Gold. Under Musa's reign, Mali flourished like never before. The empire stretched across what is now Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mauritania. But its greatest wealth lay in gold, salt, ivory, copper, and unstoppable trade routes. Caravans traveled through Mali with thousands of camels loaded with goods, as traders from Arabia, Egypt, and Europe sought the empire's treasures. Musa reorganized the government, rebuilt justice systems, promoted education, reduced corruption, and strengthened diplomacy. He was powerful, yet he ruled with surprising humility. He built mosques, funded scholars, and believed deeply that knowledge was the true wealth of a nation. But nothing could prepare the world for what Musa was about to do next, something that would make his name immortal, the pilgrimage that shook the world. In 1324, Mansa Musa made a decision guided by faith and destiny. He would embark on the Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca. But this was no ordinary journey. Musa traveled with 60,000 men, 12,000 royal servants, 500 officials in silk robes, thousands of soldiers, hundreds of camels carrying gold, and a caravan stretching farther than the eye could see. Every person wore gold. Every garment was embroidered. Every servant carried a staff of pure gold. It was a moving city, a golden river cutting through the desert. Arrival in Cairo. When Musa reached Cairo, Egypt, the city trembled at his presence. He distributed gold so generously to the poor, to merchants, to officials, that the price of gold crashed. This single act caused inflation across the Middle East. That lasted over 12 years. Economies collapsed, markets shifted, and Mansa Musa became known across the world as the King of Gold, the Emperor of Wealth, the richest man alive. His fame reached Europe, and soon his image appeared on the Catalan Atlas, one of the most important medieval maps. Musa had introduced Mali to the world, but his journey didn't end there. The return home. After completing the Hajj, Musa returned to Mali with scholars, architects, and engineers from across the Islamic world. He brought back poets, teachers, imams, builders, and great minds who would transform the empire. Among them was the renowned architect Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, who helped Musa redesign the empire's most important cities. Musa did not simply want Mali to be wealthy. He wanted it to be a beacon of knowledge, building the jewel of Africa. Under Mansa Musa, cities blossomed. Timbuktu, once a quiet trading post, it became the heart of African intellectual life. Musa built the University of Sankore, which soon held 1 million manuscripts, dozens of schools, thousands of students, scholars from across Africa and the Middle East. It became the greatest center of learning in Africa, rivaling Cairo, Baghdad, and Cordoba. Gao transformed into a wealthy trading hub. Niamey, the imperial capital, adorned with palaces, gardens, and grand mosques. The great mosque of Djinguereber, built from mud, wood, and desert stone. This architectural masterpiece still stands today, a living monument to Musa's vision. Mansa Musa's reign turned Mali into one of the richest empires in the history of the world. An empire defined not just by gold, but by knowledge, culture, and innovation. The golden philosophy of a king. Despite his unimaginable wealth, Musa often reminded his people, power is nothing without wisdom. Gold is nothing without purpose. He encouraged charity. He valued faith. He uplifted scholars and honored tradition. His rule was firm, but fair. He inspired loyalty not through fear, but through respect. He believed that a great empire must invest in its people, its culture, its mind, and its soul. This philosophy would secure his legacy. The final days of Titan. After ruling for 25 years, Mansa Musa grew older. The empire was stable, prosperous, respected. He prepared his son, Mansa Musa, for leadership. And in his final years, Musa continued building, teaching, and guiding his people. He died around 1337, leaving behind a legacy unmatched in the Chronicles of Kings. After his death, Mali would continue to thrive. But no ruler would ever match the brilliance of Musa. He had taken an empire of gold and turned it into an empire of knowledge. The legend lives on. Centuries later, historians still struggle to quantify his wealth. Some say he was worth over $400 billion. Others believe his fortune was incalculable, that Mali produced half of the world's gold during his reign. But Mansa Musa's true wealth was never the gold he gave away. It was the cities he built, the minds he educated, the culture he preserved, the faith he strengthened, the empire he elevated, and the legends he left behind. Today, Mansa Musa stands as a symbol of African greatness, intellectual glory, boundless generosity, and leadership that changes the world. This has been the story of Mansa Musa, a man who turned an empire into a masterpiece, whose footsteps shook the desert, and whose shadow still stretches across history. The richest man who ever lived, but more importantly, one of the greatest kings the world has ever known. Thank you for listening to The Sovereign Story.